ConFoBi is a wonderful acronym that stands for the conservation of forest biodiversity in multiple use landscapes. It is a mouthful, but it's required to describe really what we're about, because we want to find out how we can improve the situation of biodiversity in these managed forests. Full stop. By and large, the forest landscape in Europe is shaped by cultural forests that have been managed in one way or the other since humans have settled this continent and used the landscape and natural resources. We see many positive trends. The area of forests has expanded. The forests are becoming older on average. The forests are gradually becoming more diverse in terms of species richness, but we also see some negative developments in forests that has to do with some external drivers. Climate change, the effects of it on forests are becoming more and more apparent, where we've seen a massive increase in drought-related and bark beetle-related disturbances in Europe, new pests and diseases. And then, of course, we do have internal drivers that are related to the way we use forests. Probably many forests where the disturbance from management and harvesting is relatively high. In our culturally shaped forests, biodiversity has for a long time not been the primary objective. What we are focusing on is to see whether the current approaches that are being used to foster and promote biodiversity by maintaining certain structural elements like large habitat trees, dead wood on the ground, standing dead wood, or by diversifying the structure of forests through bringing more light through gaps and so on. We want to find out how effective that is. If we really want to find out how biodiversity is developing, we need to have this multi-taxon approach, looking at the community as such, so that we can draw or develop the overall large picture, how biodiversity responds to purposeful management approaches.
Hi, I'm Max.
My name is Ninon Meyer.
I'm Taylor Shaw.
Nolan Rappa.
I'm Gita.
Manuel John. Carlos Landivar. My name is Shang Liu.
I'm João and I work with birds.
So I'm working with forest fungi.
And my project focuses on soundscapes.
In a nutshell, I'll try.
In a nutshell.
So weird making so much eye contact with you.
Can we do this again? I'm so nervous.
So during these 2 years, I tried to investigate how mammals respond to retention forestry.
So I work on plant-insect interactions.
So I'm trying to cover everything, which is impossible because there are so many species out there.
And this wonderful thing happens very early in the morning. It begins before sunrise and sort of crescendos as the sun is coming up, and that's called the dawn chorus. We have reason to believe that you can glean differences in the bird community based on differences in the shape of the dawn chorus.
There are super many interesting things that I could say. If you're looking at rare species, you will most probably find them on those large decayed logs in the forest.
Because if you think about it, like the Black Forest, it's one of the largest remaining forest areas in Germany, but it's also ideally positioned like strategically between other forested areas around Europe, and it could potentially act as a stepping stone for more forest specialist species, which are also more sensitive to forest fragmentations.
These species are really important because they can be used as bioindicators for habitat quality, because they represent several functional groups, namely predators and, most importantly, pollinators. So when you sample for them and you look at their abundance, you can really say something about the habitat quality.
So not only deadwood is a very important resource in forests because of the nest sites that it provides, but one thing I noticed is also the importance that many other variables that sometimes are not really considered, such as the canopy closure or the choice of tree species, and not just the things that are typically targeted by retention.
Conservation in managed forests is a very social issue in that they're used for economic reasons and foresters are dealing with conflicting goals. This is why we as social scientists exist in this project.
We're bringing together the data of all the different organisms, for example birds, bats, plants, fungi. Then we try to understand the relationship between the diversity of these organisms and environmental conditions. This is interesting from a scientific perspective, and I think it's also important for forest managers who would like to promote biodiversity in their forests.
Okay, this time it works.
Sure, okay. No, all good.
We all come from different backgrounds and most often we do disagree. However, it's all over after 6 and we're still all together being able to go for a beer and have fun. We are still a great team and we are working together and moving together towards something, whatever it is, we are going there together and I think that's really crazy.
You have people coming from many places of the world, and what I really like is that we're all working on the same system.
Always great to view the forest from a different angle, from a different perspective, because my perspective is always very different from what someone sees or hears.
So some people work on bats, some other works on birds, some other like on insects. I focus on mammals, for example. And I really like that it really gives you like a thorough idea of what's going on in the same system, and there's a lot of exchange of knowledge, and this is what science is all about, right? Exchanging knowledge between researchers.
There's a lot of smart, enthusiastic people interested in a diverse range of projects, not just different ecological subjects, but also subjects outside of ecology or biology generally. So we go into social sciences and economics, and so it really challenges me, really looking at forests and forest management through a different lens than I would, or that my direct colleagues would.
If we want to preserve biodiversity as a whole, we really need to get the complete picture. That's why it's important to have this interdisciplinary approach.
That's why we can build bridges with our data that we can build here and we cannot in other projects.
You will find so many different things, and every perspective is unique.
This is a unique setting that no one else is tackling like ConFoBi does. But our important contribution will be to better inform this form of management to promote biodiversity in European forests.